going to throw first at you a game in the Pac-12. Oregon State, Oregon Ducks here at Circle Lane 14. Total is 62.5. Beavers came up flat last week at home in a game a lot of people liked them, and they could not knock off Washington. They lose 22-20. How do you think this one sets up for Oregon State, Oregon?
I laid 13, which I really never do in a rivalry game, and laying doubles against a good team. Those are going against everything I really believe in, but the spot is just tremendous for Oregon. I mean, Oregon State left it all on the field last week against Washington. Outplayed them, should have won the game, didn't. Just an emotionally and physically draining thing. And now Oregon, if they win out, is going to get in. That's my only, they won't run up the score. They don't have to. They didn't against SC. They're in the same situation here. But I think Oregon is the better team. They're getting them in the right spot. So I laid 13, very small, but it should be a hell of a game. The Civil War.
The interesting thing for me here, Nick, is a couple weeks ago, I asked Connor Howard, who's our main college football guy, and now that Metcalf's traveling and consulting, what his number was on this game. And the market was at 11.5 in the look-ahead lines, and he was at 13.5. And he said, I'm lower on Oregon State than most people. That might not be what I hang because the other guys are probably closer to the 11.5. It comes back after that game 13. But as to your point, Oregon State didn't play poorly that you would downgrade their rating off that game, but the momentum of Oregon. And here's the other thing. The Pac-12 desperately needs Oregon to win this game so that their championship is a play-in to the college football playoff.
100%. Yeah. We have to have, in the last year of the Pac-12, either Oregon or Washington in the Final Four. It just has to be.
Mike, how about the game of the day in the Big Ten West, where I see a total as low as 24.5?
Yeah, open 26.5. At some point, you're going to have to get to bet. I keep betting them under, Matt. You know that. At some point, you're going to have to bet these games over because the total's just so low. The motivation thing becomes a huge factor here, right? Also, when I'm talking to Connor 2 weeks ago, we don't know Iowa's going to clinch the West at that point. He's got Iowa as 1 or 1.5 in this game. But now they don't have to win. It means nothing. They can't go to a playoff. Their big game is next Saturday against Ohio State or Michigan. They don't want to come away with any injury here. People say, it's a big rivalry game. It's only become a rivalry because the Big Ten has decided to make it the Black Friday game. For decades and decades and decades, this was Big 8 and Big 10. There was no rivalry. They never played. So Nebraska needs to win to go to a bowl game. We've seen this number open 1, now up to 3 Nebraska. I know some people will still lay the 3.
Super sharp people are all over Nebraska in the pick range, multiple, and that's rare. And obviously the total went from 27 to 24.5. The only problem here is Iowa wins every ugly game. They know how to win, and this isn't just this year. This is every year. Mm-hmm. They know how to win. Nebraska, they don't. They have lost so many close games in the last 3 or 4 years. They just expect to lose. The spot screams Nebraska, but when push comes to shove, Iowa wins these games and Nebraska doesn't. So it's a pass for me, but it's definitely much watch TV to see if this thing can get over 24.5. Not in my lifetime did I ever think I'd see a college football total 24.5, yet here it is.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Actually, I bet Nebraska here minus 130. I didn't want to lay even a point with the Cornhuskers or a 1.5, but I agree with exactly what you said. Hawkeyes find ways to win all these ugly games, and it's tough to bet against them because also the Cornhuskers find ways to lose them.
Well, here's my thoughts.
Nebraska needs this win, by the way, to be bowl eligible.
Yeah, but they've got 3 bad quarterbacks. That goes against them, Nebraska. But I feel that there's some level of competence with Rule, although they blew the big lead last week that they had on the road in Wisconsin. Remember this game 2 years ago? Nebraska was totally outplaying Iowa, and then they punt. And they had the wrong, They had a left-footed punter, and they have a right-footed. They had the protection on for the wrong punter, and they blocked everybody right into the punt. Iowa blocked the punt to return it and won the game and turned on. I mean, to your point, they find ways, safeties, everything, and come away with these 12-10 wins.
It really is amazing. and 1 time is lucky, 2 times lucky, 3 times. But they've done it 20 times. So it's, at the end of the game, that's their stick. So I would love to see Nebraska win this game. Get some, Nebraska's one of the top 5 programs of all time. We want them relevant. Rule will bring them back. They get to 6-6. They get an extra 15 practices with this group, and it, it speeds up their performance for next year. So we're all rooting for the Huskers today.
And you bet the total over 24.5?
I can't. Mitch and Molly would lambaste me on national radio. So they have beat it pretty good. Bet under blindly, and sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just got to drink the punch, and if you have, you've got a lot of coin in your pocket.
All right, how about Miami, BC? Circus Sports opened this number 7. It's up to 10. Mutual friend of ours, Ron Skinny Boyles, professional sports bettor since the 1980s, likes BC in this game, but the number looks like the money is on Miami. Is that right?
The money is for Miami, but I agree with Skinny. I think you got to take 10. I mean, nasty northeast winter. Miami's left everything on the field many times and came up short. They got to be as flat for this one. Well, you think they're going to be excited to go to Chestnut Hill? I mean, if the quarterback doesn't turn the ball over, he'll be able to move. He's a great runner. He really is. I think BC can keep this one close, Matt.
If somehow Joey McGuire and Texas Tech win in Austin today, you could be a 4-way tie at 6-2, and the Big 12 still can't explain who would go to the title game. So they're praying Texas wins, because then we know the pecking order. It goes Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Kansas State in the pecking order. Brett Yorkman came out months ago saying he's pulling for Texas Tech in this game. Right? He wants to keep them out of the playoff, I guess. This number went from 13, now 14. Thoughts on this game?
No, it was sharp money too, that laid 13 up to 14. I'm not a big Texas fan. I've had them rated lower all year long, but I was impressed with Ewers, the way he played last week in Ames. I will give him that. Losing their big running back didn't help, but Texas will get the job done today. Whether they cover is another story, and I'm not involved in that game.
I took 14 with Texas Tech. I'm with you. I really think Quinn Ewers with that shoulder injury. Jonathan Brooks, star running back, is out. I haven't had Texas rated as highly as the market either, but I lost with Iowa State last week in a game where Texas blocked an extra point, ran it back for 2, made every field goal, and the Cyclones missed a field goal. And ball didn't bounce our way, Mike,
no,
in that one. I know you had Iowa State plus
didn't bounce our way in Lubbock either.
Plus the points in that one. All right, we've
Go
got
to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.